Iwan, mamwa yakse.
Omite nano nene testa ngolomba nyumbani. Karibuni sana.
Okay, jitap kalenjin witu lolimi ni gotetu chetab leneme.
Kaseti shege today tukul kusoma kaseti ni Daily Nation, kaseti ni The Standard, kaseti ni The Star ni Betu Tabrani, kaskele muhaine.
Boaz Kemboy Triza Cheroro
Uy, yamajale Jehovah gongo mugaga ya jemi.
Kichugier kuno ko kapga tu kus. Ingemo sito lu matyange ko umite serikali noi.
The easiest thing ko kiatakan serikali and anybody in the serikali and anybody in the leadership, whether co-elected and not co-appointed. It is the easiest thing to do because you don't need to explain.
Kingo jo serikali ne ko target ne gure presidential working party on education reform. Kaya nyon analysis ngeme tukul gele yune ngalega elimu. Omo elimu connect ko the engine.
Siasa sinye kumagaria wengu. Siasa ko lazima itinye sababu kila. Yenyete ngoi men garia biashara. Garia biashara na yae. Yani lazima ile kakial tani yani. Nena stock na maji mutai. Next week komuch kuputia sugaro, you know.
Boaz Kemboy Triza Cheroro
Isitai activate tatu chetap lene emet en Kass FM International. Kass FM International.
Uko ready ku entertain? Go TV inakupa more shows. Juu wewe ni wetu.
That's right.
More movies.
Yes.
Jackpot. More cartoons za watoi.
Of course.
Na more futa.
No doubt about it.
Habari ndio hiyo. Tunakupatia more.
Girl, that is so true.
Exactly. Lipia package yako tuko upgrade to the next package on us.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Chamge mising chitab kalenjin amang ole chamege eng olda tugul ole tesetai inyorune tuyetab Kass TV eng betut nebo kosomok kasi tarik 28 arawetab agenge eng kenyit nebo 2026. Kakoit kasarta nebo tetutieng'ung nechame mising noto nebo Kass Mashinani nekiityini komonut logoiwek cheng'ete komasta nebo Rift Valley ak tokwek alak cheterter. Koitagat ketestai kainenyu ko Bernard Koech. Kitaune taonitab Nairobi ole kakimurto kirwoik 15 chelelach chebo kapkirwok nebo Court of Appeal chekolewen kibagengeitab Judicial Service Commission kakiyai korata eng karonetab rani eng State House Nairobi ole kaborionji korata President William Ruto nekacher kirwokichoto koboto kirwoik alak chebo kapkirwok nebo emoni kokiljigei boisionik chetokyinigei kotoret biikab emet koker kole kanyor imandang'wai. Alak eng kirwokichoto koboto Katwa Kigen Kass eng kwenutab kirwoik alak choto chekonyor anan chekoibelis eng interview nekoindochi kibagengeitab Judicial Service Commission eng wikit konye ko eng nguno kebendi keipchinit ng'alaletab president nekakon eng kasarta nenwai nekakosirto yekangimurto kirwokichoto 15 eng State House Nairobi.
I congratulate the 15 honorable men and women sworn in today as judges of the Court of Appeal as you assume this high constitutional office in service of our republic. Your appointment carries immense responsibility and profound national consequence. In accepting this charge, you join a vital institution whose strength, independence, and credibility are indispensable to Kenya's stability and the health of our democracy. I'm encouraged to note that in recent years, the Court of Appeal has progressively strengthened its institutional capacity through a deliberate and structured appointment process. This reflects a sustained commitment to expanding access to justice, improving appellate efficiency, and ensuring the court is adequately resourced to fulfill its vital constitutional mandate. In 2022, 11 judges were appointed to the Court of Appeal, 4 of whom I appointed immediately upon assuming office on the 15th of September 2022. This appointment of 15 additional judges, therefore, represents one of the most significant single reinforcements of the court in recent history. It demonstrates our collective resolve to reduce the backlog of appeal cases, shorten time required to resolve disputes, and strengthen public confidence in the administration of justice. This expansion also comes at a critical moment. As of December 2025, the Court of Appeal was managing a pending caseload of 14,300 matters, with an overall case clearance rate of 68%. These figures indicate that while progress has been made, existing judicial capacity has not yet fully matched the growing inflow of cases, particularly in high-volume stations. That is why this administration has consistently committed resources to strengthen the judiciary's human capital, ensuring it has the capacity, skills, and institutional depth required to effectively deliver on its constitutional mandate. In the High Court, a total of 60 new judges will have been appointed by March this year, comprising 20 in December 2022, 20 in May 2024, and an additional 20 through the recruitment process scheduled to begin next week on the 4th of February. At the same time, the Judicial Service Commission has recruited a total of 168 resident magistrates, significantly strengthening service delivery at the lower levels. These appointments are enhancing judicial capacity where it is most needed and easing pressure across the judicial system. Our support for the judiciary, however, goes very well beyond judicial appointments. In the 2023-2024 financial year, we increased the judiciary's budgetary allocation from 18.8 billion Kenya shillings to 21.8 billion. This commitment has been sustained and strengthened over the past 3 years, with the allocation rising to 26.9 billion in the current financial year. Equally important is the welfare and security of judicial officers. Last year, the Cabinet approved the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill, which has since passed the second reading in Parliament and is now in the final stages of consideration. I have the undertaking of the Speakers of the two Houses that this shall be dispensed with within this financial year. Once enacted, this legislation will establish a dedicated pension and retirement benefits framework for judges of the superior courts, providing enhanced benefits including pensions, gratuities, medical cover, and related protections to safeguard judicial independence and ensure dignified and secure retirement. Even as we provide this support, we issue a clear and respectful challenge to the judiciary. With the expanded capacity, improve and trust of the judiciary, decision of the courts. And I have been candid about this reality. On certain occasions, I have questioned judicial decisions that appear to impede the implementation of critical public policy priorities. And I have raised concern where some rulings seemed to cross into the realm of judicial overreach, or even, as some say, tyranny. These concerns are neither expressed lightly nor out of disregard or contempt for the courts. It is out of duty to speak honestly and candidly about the consequences such decisions have on the lives and livelihoods of the Kenyan people. Even so, and notwithstanding these differences of opinion, this administration has consistently respected court decisions. Where we have been dissatisfied, we have chosen the lawful path of appeal where available, rather than defiance or disregard of court orders. And I want to give you my undertaking that this administration will not disregard any court rulings. At all times and in all circumstances, we remain guided by one immutable principle, that the rule of law must prevail, because without it, no policy, no program, and no government and no country can endure. Once again, congratulations to the newly appointed judges of the Court of Appeal. And I will be, in a short while, approaching the court to help me understand the place of a policy document called a manifesto. You all understand that the ultimate authority in the Republic of Kenya is the people of Kenya. And the people of Kenya speak to us through their decisions in many respects, including through their vote. I will want to understand when the people of Kenya vote for a manifesto, and a manifesto is endorsed as a policy document by millions of Kenyans. Where does that manifesto stand when the implementation of that manifesto is challenged, sometimes on account of public participation, to the detriment of millions who voted for it? I think as we grow our jurisprudence, I think it's a good thing to try and help us, all of us, understand, because progressively we want to move away from our political discourse being around personalities or being about individuals, and more towards policies, programs, ideas that get captured in a manifesto upon which a government is established. I will be respectfully approaching the court to help all of us understand, so that maybe if the manifesto is not very important, so we stop wasting time putting it together. We can go and campaign as individuals. But the people of Kenya, from what I hear, they want to elect leaders on the basis of what they stand for and what they intend, how they intend to change our country and their lives. Shortly. Once again, I congratulate the judges sworn in today and assure you of this administration's continued support as you serve the people of Kenya. May your tenure strengthen justice, deepen public confidence in our courts, and reinforce the constitutional foundations of our republic. Again, congratulations to you and my very, very best wishes. Thank you very much.
Natajitab Kalenjin ko ngalalet President William Ruto nakangalali eng igorta nebo kamurtoetab kirwogik chelelach kirwogik 15 chelelach chebo kapkirwog noto nebo Court of Appeal. Igorta noto kiyai eng State House Nairobi. Yakatestai ak logoiwekab emet ko katestai kurset eng rwoikab emoni koistoege boisietab kerichek chemaiyonotin choto chetese kimnatet eng borto anan doping asimatestai koimak sekta nebo labatet. Kamwa Peter Sang ne inendet ko sirindet nebo local organizing committee nebo labatetab tinderet Baringetuny Mountain Run kole chechang eng rwoikab emoni komaingen kerichek chemanyolu koboisie, ako noto konyolu kinet icheket konai kotinygei ak tuguk chemakat koistoegei asimakinomchi yautik choto bo doping ne kotestai kowech sekta nebo labatet eng emetab Kenya. Kong'ololi ne eng ketesietab Kass TV eng karonetab rani.
Amache kongoi serikali amu mi tai kikon chamchinet kobun bunge kerib kele rwoik ko at least ko rwoik ko urik tugul chebo mpiret, cherwoe, chebi swimming, chemite football. Ko netai korok amache amwochi rwoikyok anan urikyok chebo Kalenjin ale ongerib borwekyok. Sana chechang chekinomchin kerichek komachamenwa. Chechang kondo underlying cases chebo mionwogik. Ko kamache asom rwoikyok ak serikalisyek chebo county nebo Kericho, county nebo Nandi, county nebo Uasin Gishu, Trans Nzoia, Bomet ak Nakuru olebo rwoikyok ko kiaban daktari kirib rwoikyok sikondo an athlete miondo kuno ndalaji komu kerichekab allergy kukaame mkimbiaji kamongen komutakaje ketesten out of competitions kenamda kerichek. So chechang eng Kenya kumelen kele ame kerichek kokamache amu so labat chechang konyoege. So challenge ne noto kuno amu economy nekitinye kumaimu kenyoru a specific doctor for a specific athlete. But kama mambo ngomisa mu athletics Kenya kunda kanetishi no missing neneti athletes ngamsi ndaga kanetishi no neneti coaches. Kukamaja mwarwaika coaches alonge taretke perwe kendo underlying challenges ko contribute mapema semana mwarwaiki yoge kumi off guard. Labatera ni Kenya ko brand. Ko Athletics Kenya in every championship awote ni meeting rate komitei ko ya Athletics Kenya timitab adak ko nyogonet rwoik kergecha actives chebo sign atake anan ko chmarwai komitei ke workshop na clinic ne ginete sige mwonyin kile kerchekchu ko je prohibited kerchekchu ko ma prohibited lakini lazima gekon kokon report daktari mapema simat ke accusation na tilis poch nebo aeng asome serikalit ale institutions ko ke deploy kwa institution mu talent ke bikin ne janano la janengun ko yegi ngalagap doping ke ko a part of syllabus in school section lagok agra le genyo ke state art cup nebo tambole ga sabam kimete nayat so ila information nyor nayat onyo nayat lagok ko ko chimengeji agiben sigik malasa mainet in lerwe jege even sigik inet ki yato mo ko meji rib labatane kirip ke wotitap college
Yakamande kongete county nebo Nairobi chitab Kalenjin ketokyinige county nebo Kericho ole eng kasarta netetat keyai igorta nebo kamang'unetab kipsomaninik anan graduation neyume kipsomaninik chebo sukulishek tugul chebo TVETs eng county nebo Kericho eng betutab komut kasi nebo wikini ko tesetai serikalitab county noto bo Kericho ak kanabtaetab sukulishek choto asikomuch kokoito somanet neititaat eng neranik chemitei county noto bo Kericho kosubkei ak CC nebo somanet eng serikalitab county noto Judy Chirchir ko tesetai konyoru chamet sukulishek chebo TVET kobun barnotik ole tetat kimong kipsomaninik cheitei 1,100 chekokotar somanet eng graduation noto bo komut kasi ole tesetai kanabtaetab sukulishek choto asikoityi magutikab kipsomaninik koboto somanet kaimuch kong'alal sirindenyo nebo logoiwek Robert Siele ak Judy Chirchir ak eng nguni kebendi keipchini ng'alaleng'wai noto nekatestai eng taonitab Kericho.
Kongoi mising studio nebo Kass TV en nguni amiten en county nebo Kericho len betab raini kemiten ak CC nebo somanet en county nebo Kericho noton ko Judy Chirchir ole mache sikobit kororwech kotinygei ak tetutik chetindoi mising na ilen kasitab mut ko graduation neo kot mising nebo aeng en county nebo Kericho nebo sukulishekab musoknotet neituitos kipsomaninik anan neimutu kipsomaninik cheite 1,100 tetat komanda icheket anan koyai kechi icheket graduation asikotokyigei boisionik cheterter en emoni ak en emotinwekab sang. Itagat waziri en ketisiet nebo Kass FM International ak Kass TV en betutab raini ako tos mangen ale arorwech akobo tetutik chetesetai en nguni mising ko chopchinetabgei nebo graduation nebo kasitab mut.
Kongoi mising. Ko ye kaokas ketinye graduation nebo lagokab vocational training centers en kasitab mut tarikit 30 en arawetab January. Ko ki graduateni lagok kaokas 1,600 chekokoai skills en komaswek cheterter, mi chebo plumbing, mi chebo sitimet, mi chebo mechanic chebo karisiek, mi chebo amitwogik, mi chebo nabisiet. So chang kosisiek chekokoai ako lagok choto kokonetak komie ak kisiryo test ako noto kobendi ko graduaten.
Kimiten kora kenyit nekosirto graduation nekiununto aniker kit neu en kenyini ak kenyit nekosirto ko tos mangen ale tos imwa ne anikerchin graduation chuton nekitai ko tos kiune niton nebo aeng ko ne kamang'unet en betab raini.
Kongoi mising. Graduation nekibo 2024 November ko kikararan kora mising, kichang lagok kidogo amun kiakobasak kimi chekibo 2023 ke combine tugul ko ki lagok nekit 2,500 lakini en kenyini ko kitinye kityo chebo 2024 ichege. That's why kotang nyong'oi nambait kidogo koek 1,600. Yes. Ko ngekerchin in training nikinye ak nikonye ko kergei amun kitinye equipment, kitinye konetik cheyoe kasit komie ako ngekero test chekayai chukiche ak test chekoyai chechu ko kergei amun somanet ko noto, the training ko noto, equipment ko choto. Ko kiboiboi mising akot en center managers chechok ak konetik cheneti lagok amun yoe kasit komie. Akot county government ak echek chetinye staff chebendi kochekenote kit neu somanet. Ako yoto kokere kabisa kochikili kole mashinishek chekiboisien kinete lagok kou ne. Konetik konetishe komie kotestai kasit komie ak kiboiboi mising.
Ngalen waziri mising ko boisionik chebo eunek anan chebo musoknotet ak boisionik chebo eunek ko tos mangen ale bo kamanut netiana ako arorun amune asikoker chi age tugul mara keren ketisiet nebo Kass TV ak Kass FM International kamanutietab kochut sukulishek chu.
Bo kamanut mising kochut lagok in vocational training centers amun bekinete skills. Kole kinete skills alak kobo situmok, alak kobo plumbing, alak kobo mechanics ak ne. Amun kobar keker kasisiek chemi nguni ko kasisiekab eusionikab eunek. Kasisiekab office ko mekomi. Kikochang'a biik konyolu konetkei lagok especially chon mait koba university. Ko mi colleges chuto chebo county government of Kericho ak kikoini scholarship. Ingoba akonetkei boisionikab eunek asikosich kasit en industries kosich akot koboisiechigei. Imuche konam business nenyi lakwet. Muche konam nebo saloon, muche konam nebo amitwogik kochop kekisiek, muche konam konde ositemo korik. So chang kasisiek ako mami biik. Keimishani kabisa kele ngoba tugul vocational training center. Asikonetkei chito kasit nemoche nebo eut ako mabete kasit. Mi kasisiek, mi chebo tekset kitekse kila. Akot chebo affordable houses ketekse ak kemoe biik cheboisie. Kesome kele ngoba bichu akobo konetkei a skill. Mabete kasit. Akot nguno ketinye lagok chekokomanda bitoni. Kitinye nemi Germany mechanic. Kitinye mi Abu Dhabi nebo plumbing. Kitinye chemi Dubai. Chang lagok chekokomanda. Ako kikiyochi interview ko serious interview and not amune sikokoba bitoni kwai kasisiek.
So anemwa kora ile kotestai koba sukulishek chuton chebo kemwa kele otindoi kit neu scholarship. Tos mangen ale toretet neokochini kipsomaninik chu kasarta non bendi kotou somanet ngamun mara kebeberta neo kokabur en gaa kosubkei mara matindoi toretetab rabisiek. Tetutik chu otindoi ko serikalitab county nebo Kericho mising ko koitoetab scholarship ko tos une ako toretitoi ano kipsomaninik chu?
Kongoi mising. County government nebo Kericho kikoitoi scholarship. Ako kikochini lagok scholarship kosoman buch. Kit nekiteben kityo ko lunch. Ako kikitoret ka KCB Foundation. Ngelipan kikuren a shilling for a shilling. So ngekonu 20 million kokon akichek 20 million. Kine lagok. So tinye scholarship lagochu. Chi kityo nemache ko inyon vocational training center konyeketebeni maswali kidogo inyit formit kot qualify ni ichute sukul.
So sait age mara koteben chi kora kole itonda mising nebo sukulishek chebo muswoknotet tos une ngalekab mashinishek training chebo kanetik che mara boisien sukulishek chu ko tos une asikonai chito ne mara makyingei kotokyi kebeberu choton kokonyorchigei kanetisiet ak somanet.
Kongoi mising. Equipment chekiboisien en vocational training centers kema equipment chenamegei ak kasari. Ingele karisiek koboisien ko kikowelelok. Vehicle engines chu kichop chu ko kikoek ter. So keboisien the modern equipment ak ketesetai kimuti konetik ak refresher courses asikobit konetkei tuguk chebo kasari asikonet lagok. So konetik ko well trained kimuti abokora koba kitrainen anan koba kinet konetik asikobit konet lagok komie. Kongoi.
Kongoi mising. So mangen ale ketinye kora boisietab kibagenge nebo stakeholders cheterter ak mising ko anan partners che boisie tugul. Tos mangen ale en betusiek chebwone anan ketokyingei tai ngamun biik chechang ko anan kekere alyetab sobet ak kaimutik che mara miten en nguni. Tos mara utakyinigei en kasarwek alak koker kole mara kanyo chi buch imuch kora mamiten ngalekab amitwogik ak ngalekab budget che otindoi en nguni.
Kitesetai kechenge partners chechang sikobit lakwet nan kamakomuche kabisa akot kolipanjingei lunch komuche ketoret. So kitesetai kechenge partners. Mi che kokenyoru ku nekibare Shofco konete lagok kotoreti chebo Samomgot ak chebo St. Kisito Vocational Training Centers. Kitinye kora partner nekonyone nekibare Pratham International. Konoto konete lagok chekibare digital skills. Malas side keyai practical live en class. Muche kokere lakwet en screenit kole kifixendo karit, ole kilionen, ole kichopto electrical wiring chebo korik, kokere kityo en screenit kokonoe kiy. Sikor kayai practicals konoe kora. So those are some of our anan ko sponsors chechoke. Nyone kora National Bank konekit kokeng'alal and soon kobwone konyo kotoretech kora. Yes.
Waziri mangen en boisiet age tugul nekiyoe en county anan ko national government ko kit nebo kamanut mising ko katabanetab rabisiek cheyomotin anan ngalekab budget. Mangen ale une budget kiunen kenyit nekosirto ako unen kenyini ako tos ne kamang'unet ng'wong en rayan kibendi asikotokon boroindo nebo ketes kaitetab kipsomaninik che mara nyorchingei tetutik cheu chuton.
Kotesetai kochang'aitu lagok en vocational training centers kotesetai kora kekonech a bigger budgetary allocation. Kungunon en last year kitinye kityo 41 million. Amun kotesak lagok kenyini kekonech 40 million. So kotesakse lagok kotesakse akine budget. Amun kokiker kele vocational training ini kokoek very popular kokocham biik mising. Kochang lagok chebwone. So ngunon kesiche this financial year lagochu kinomi kokokisich budget nekaikai kosir nekinye. Kotesak 9 million en budget. Yes.
Mara kebendi tai nguni kone kamang'unet ng'wong ako tos ne kursio mising kora koityi mara kebeberta nebo county assembly kotinygei ak kasirtoetab budget ak rabisiek cheyomotin.
Okay. Nasom county akomwoini kongoi county assembly kabisa amun ngepropose na budget nebo vocational training kobo approveni mapingani. Akosom ale si yon kakisom budget kotesak ko consideren amun kokochang'a lagok chemoe vocational training. So asome mising ale yon kawo budget kunon kokonech kounoto anan koteswech. Yes.
kema ile miten alak en kipsomaninik chemara kikonyor kelchinoik anan kikonyor kanetisiet ak yeitya ko graduate ako tokyigei emotinwekab sang. Tos waziri ng'olol chito nekere Kass TV akose Kass FM International imukakse nito ngele miten chito age mara ngomiten gaa kolelen changu atindonik buch mara mamukakse ako iarorchi asikonyor kakuet konai kole kit age tugul mara kaketo ak kenyor kamang'unet konyumnyum kosulda.
Kongoi missing. Tuguchu kimwoe ko imukakse. Akot tun en graduation kibortoi en screens testimony nebo bichoto mi bitonin. So tun kora en graduation oker kiboru so ng'olole tukun ng'olole bichoto chekoba bitonin komwoe kongoi akot mini komwoe kongoi kabisa kole ndama scholarship program kotamami ngunon Germany. So kimwoe mi akot nemi Japan. So tun ke laini lagochoto kokonech in their testimony asitun ngemi graduation kiboru en screenit. So konai biik kole iman ng'alechu kobo iman. Ak ketoche biik obwa vocational training centers. Matobur en gaa. Ngibur en gaa ak iegu idol kochang'aitu like crime rate, gender based violence ak ne tuguk chechang chemakororon. So kisomo kele obwan onetkei boisietab eunek sikobit isich kit neyoe chito sikobit isich a skill. A skill isinye ko a talent. Kuon kimwoe Bible in the parable nebo kele the talents. Ko talent ko skill nebo chito. Ak kemoe biik konyokonetkei. Kongoi.
So en nguni kora ketokyingei missing muko chang'indab neranik anan biikab emet kotokyingei missing boisionik choton chenotik ko white collar jobs ako nyumnyum komakomiten nguni. Tos mang'en ale ne kora tetutik taban kora nebo training ak kanetisiosiek cheu chu komang'en ale tetutik cheotindoi kora cheimuche kora kotoret neranik chu alak chemara matokoba emotinwekab sang ng'alekab empowerment missing ko department nebo education anan boisie ak departments alak. Tos mara miten tetutik cheotindoi ko serikalitab county anan tos ne kit nopongoni en tai?
Akot lagochu graduate ani kora komi chekikoin a toolkit. Ko ngikoi lakwani a toolkit kobokonome kityon boisiet koboisiechingei. So ako kora akot nemosich toolkit kokepangan ak benkisiek sikikoi loan en interest nemi ng'weny. Kong'et lakwani kobokoal tuguk chemokyingei konamen boisiet akoyat kit okoyat business nenyin amuch ot kosir biik alak akine amun kokikochi skill ak kikoi kora tuguk chetoretengei. So that's why alelen mi boisiet nekararan en county government en ng'alekab vocational education and training. Yes.
So ko department nebo education ak missing kora ko serikalitab county nebo Kericho ko amang'u ale graduation netai nebo kakituiyo ak kipsomaninik chebo vocational trainings ko kenyit nekosirto ako inoniton ko nebo oeng. Niton ko en kandoinatet nebo gavana nebo Kericho Dr. Eric Mutai. Tos mang'en ale tos omwa ane tos ne kit nekikonak missing oker ole kotou graduation nebo kibagenge neu inoni ngap ikere niton katerit missing en department nebo education ak serikalit noton nebo Dr. Eric Mutai.
Ngeyai a joint graduation nguni akobwa lagok tugul kokere emet tugul kole kii ko kararan kosir keyai en individual vocational training centers ku en tai. Yani ngebwa tugul kibagenge kokere any iman emet kole yoe counties kit nekararan kochi lagok.
Ara kursengane nguno siketarate kotomo ketokyingei ichoranwek kit netatun kou betunoton en kasitab mut ko tos mang'en ale kursengane koityi biikab emet neranik en nguni kora ko koibarasta kora president nebo emoni Dr. William Ruto kole makat keborien ak kekirinda yautik alak tugul chebo yeisetab maiwek chemoiyonotin. Tos ne kursengung koityi neranik missing kotinygei ak yautik chemokororon?
Okay, nemwoe neranik kolenji yautik chemokororon ko koseni kibare idleness. Kikilan idle mind ko a devil's workshop. Yani yon momi kit neyoe chito kobwote tuguk chemokororon. So kisome neranik kele yoni matieku idle ako mi somanet nekekonu for free. Nyon ak iyai ak inyon vocational training center. Chorsoni yani maiwek piretab gei akot piretab kwonyik kora en family anan ko piretab husband ko idleness ak poverty anan ko bananda. Lakini yenyo chito konetkei skill kosiche kit neyoe ko kirindoi tuguk cheyachen anan yaitosiek chemi emet. So kisome kora kele joint vocational training centers asikekirinda yaitosiek chu mi emet. Kongoi.
So siketarate koamache sikobit arorwek kora kotinygei ak betunoton kasitab mut kiyoe ano graduation ini ako tos ne kamang'unetab betunoton ngele biik chechang kotindoi imuche kobwote kole mara tatun kobitu chiletabgei kakaskei en Kiprugut Chuma Stadium ak ng'olyot neimwochini biikab emet chetat koit en betunoton ak ing'ang'we kora ile tos mang'en ale chief guest netandet nebo ng'olyot en betunoton ko ng'o?
Kiyoe graduation en kasitab mut tarikit 30 en Kiprugut Chuma Stadium. Yundo ko bara obwan biik chechang akobwonda biik 50,000 koyome ara mi security neome so otogoti missing ako chief guest ko minister nenyo nebo education doctor okay so the chief guest nenyo go honorable Julius Ogamba ago CS nenyo nebo education so togoti mi kora governors alak chebwone kagele chang negit governors cheitangwan mut so togoti missing chi tugul biik chemengech sigik parents and guardians chebo in the trainees obwan en jongindo yame ole keteben yame gi age tugul obwan otogoti.
So noton ko CC nebo somanet en county nebo Kericho ng'ololjin ketishan kakas kakwaror kotinygei kamanutiet nebo graduation nebo aeng noton neituitos kipsomaninik kobun sukulishek anan chebo sukulishekab musangnatet en county nebo Kericho ole niton ko nebo aeng en kandoinatet nebo His Excellency Dr. Eric Mutai noton ko governor nebo Kericho ole tetat keyai en kasitab mut ole tondetab kondit ko noton ko Honorable Julius Ogamba noton ko CS nebo somanet en kwenutab toek alak netetat keyai en kiwanjet noton nebo Kiprugut Chuma Stadium nemiten en county nebo Kericho. So ngeten county nebo Kericho kainenyun Korobat Sile testai iker Kass TV Kass FM International amun kimnatet naet.
Kongo missing noto ko report anan ng'alaletab Robert Siele koboto CC nebo somanet eng serikalitab county nebo Kericho noto ko Judy Chirchir missing ko kotinygei ak graduation nebo kipsomaninik 1,100 noto nebo kipsomaninikab TVET netetat keyai eng betutab komut kasi nebo wikini. Ko yeketestai ak logoiwekab emet ko kakomongei membaek chebo local organizing committee nebo labatetab tinderet Barng'etuny Mountain Run akowekta kongoi koityi biik tugul chekitoret eng kasuldaetab labatetab kenyini nekokiyai eng tarik 17 nebo arawet netai eng kenyini. Kondochini nebo ng'echeret eng LOC noto ko Joel Kemei, LOC Secretary Peter Sang koboto Eric Barng'etuny nenome mbaret nekokiyai labatonata komwa membaechoto ole koisulda komie labatonata kosubkei ak toretet nekonyor kobun sponsors kandoik koboto biikab emet ole kamwa kole nekit kotokei kora chopchinetabkei nebo labatetab kenyit nenyonei ne noto ko edition nebo lo nebo tinderet Barng'etuny Mountain Run. Kang'alal icheket eng Kass TV eng karonetab rani.
Amache amwa the sponsors chekitindoi amache amwochi kongoi amu one of them ko KCB Kass FM nekit miten nguno studio eng betutab rani koboto alak kou PK KCB ak alak chekikonech that good support eng betut noto. Amache amwochi kora kongoi the locals amu kiimuch kobwa betut noto asikobit kokerchigei ak ichek chekiimuch kwalda tugukwak eng betut noto kinyorchigei chepkondok.
Edition nebo 6th edition.
In the 6th edition amache lekitindoi keret neo missing asikobit keyai kosir the 5th edition. Missing kemoche labatani koek labatet neinegei eng Nandi, mobo tindiret. Labatani kobo Kenya, bo Nandi ak the entire country. Kimong'u as kele nyokochang'aitu biik missing ak kesome kora a lot of sponsors asikobit kobwa asikobit kokerchigei. Kenya Tourism Board nekitindoi tugul partnership amache amwa kongoi missing amu ndama ichek kobwa Taptengele asikobit komut koek a channel nebo ng'alekab tourism eng Tinderet ak Nandi kwa ujumla. Ko nekit amwa alen kongoi missing.
Kenyini bo 2026 kotinye labatet eng tarik 17 nebo Tinderet ako koborwech kichang kabisa kosubkei ak registration nebo kai. Elite athletes kotinye rwaik 800 ko lagokab sukul chekiregistrani on that the material day ak the previous day kikolektani elite athletes running numbers kokonye at least 1,500. So total number of athletes to who did it more than 10 ko biik 3,200.
Komo kaya 5th edition amu kokinyoru turnout nemi barak ak toek cheechen kokiboiboen missing amu kikekur organized by AK ko kele ini kenyit nenyone nebo 6th edition ketieme kesom kora toek chebwonei kobwa akoboto Dr. William Ruto, His Excellency nyokowitnessen akine amu kingebe bitonin keibu gold ak silver, bronze we brought, so we're happy about our labatenyo. kokenai nguno ole kimache ke adjustan ke improven ko kelen kora angot taek chebwonei kitinye challenge eng korik chemenyei kemoche ke encouraging the locals kotekso ako sikobit kenyini nyone kenyoru accommodation ak kora rwoik kora ko amu kokenaake ko ke labate nguno kibendi barak ak keweke ng'ony kotesakse kora rwoik labatik chebwone eng kenyini nyone amu kokonaak. Kiwekchini kongoi kora en patron nenyo nekoimuch kochengwech sponsors, that is Mheshimiwa Meli, ak biik chekiibwa tugul sponsors ku Kenya Commercial Bank, ku Magical Kenya neindochin June Chepkemei, ko kelechini kora kongoi amu kikonamech eut ako kokenaake biik tugul chekimuch kobwa ku AK ak biik tugul sponsors tugul chemamuche amwa alechini kongoi ak biik kora raia chekoimuch kobwa nyoko korabokwech ako kocherech. Amoche awekyi kora biikab Tindret ale kongoi obwa eng chong'indo niton the 6th edition ak alechini kora gavana supportenech ak biik chebo area tugul konet lagokwak sikorwai ako noto that's why akine kiale ngakon teta kechiriet ak ng'ororiet eng biik namba 1 akoi namba 3 eng murenik ak tibik ko noto kiacher akine ale sikomuch konai kole angot kabatisiet komi rabinik ak ketesetai yoto maimuchi itai labat ibibai teta inyoru income.
Rani keng'ololi ko Vincent ko kikowalak sabenyin kong'eten yukinye. Kinyera kwake kikotar sukul ako testai komie noton kakibwani asikobit ke celebraten
keyat koi emieindab Jehova kwandanyon akemwa eng kwandanyin ak kwerinyin ak tomnyo netil kelen koyat akoi akeboiboenji eng kainetab Jeiso.
Wow. Koitekini mam. Yeah. Wow, tonuna somo yati mam. Agora vou aqui bagata. Wow. Yes. Yes.
Imangen ale walakse sobet inguni ko walak obwasi oge sego koyaiwan eye mamwoyokse.
Say yes to a box full of what you love only on your StarTimes decoder. Recharge your monthly subscription today. Dial *858# for self-service. Stay connected for heartwarming stories to edge of your seat action.
Bravo 4, this is Dragon 26.
There's something for every mood, every moment, every kind of love. Because love isn't one thing. It's everything you enjoy together. Renew your subscription and unwrap endless entertainment. Download the StarTimes On app to enjoy all your favorite shows and stream live channels on the move. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Uko ready kuwa entertain? Go TV inakupa more shows. Juu wewe ni wetu.
That's right.
More movies. Yes. More cartoons za watoi.
Of course.
Na more futa.
No doubt about it.
Habari ndio hiyo. Tunakupatia more.
Girl, that is so true.
Exactly. Lipia package yako tuko upgrade to the next package on us.
Yes.
That's good to know.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Ooh, wase? Iko on. Kila game inamata. Reconnect now. Dial *423#.
Itagat kokenjitab Kalenjin ketestai ak tetutiet nebo Kass Mashinani nebo betut nebo kosomok kasi tarik 28 arawet netai eng kenyitab 2026 amache ketokchigei komasta nebo Naivasha eng county nebo Nakuru ole kachut betutab aeng eng betutab rani tuyet noto nebo MPs anan retreat noto neking'olole kotinygei ak tetutik cheterter chemagat keyai asikwa tai boisionikab bunge eng kenyit nebo boisiet noto nebo 2026 mising ko eng kasarta noto nekakorik lewenisiet neo nekeyoe eng kenyit nenyone nebo 2027 eng karonetab rani ko kaek netai cabinet secretary nebo somanet Julius Ogamba koitita taitab MPs asikowal tebutik cheterter kotinygei ak boisionik chetesetai kosuldoi ministry noto koboto kora koimutik choto chekokotestai koityi sekta nebo somanet mising ko tetutiet noto nebo kamutetab kipsomaninik chekoe tiemutik eng grade 9 koba grade 10 ole kobit koimutik chechang mising ole akoi nguno kochang kipsomaninik chetomo koba grade 10 kosubkei ak koimutik cheterter mising ko rarunet nebo school fees. Amache nguno kebe akoi komasata bo Naivasha asikepchit ng'alaletab minister nebo somanet Julius Ogamba.
Friday. Right. On school infrastructure, we have Article 53 that requires us to do free and compulsory education, and we have the 100% transition policy. This obviously puts a lot of pressure on school infrastructure, and that's why in the last 2 years, government has been able to do 23,000 classrooms, which were done to accommodate grade 9. 18,288 of those classrooms were done by the ministry through the support of the World Bank, and 4,712 was done by yourselves, and we thank you for that support, and through the NGCDF fund. Senior school, as we speak today, are generally very ready to receive the grade 10. And this is because when the change of the transition occurred in terms of the school system to CBE, secondary schools under 844 had 4 years. So the CBE system has 3 years, meaning last year we did not have Form 1. So we had a whole a set of classrooms that were not occupied. So currently, as we speak, senior schools have a capacity of 2.2 million. They can accommodate 2.2 million learners because they didn't have grade, Form 1, and currently they don't have Form 2, so they have that capacity. But we have only 1.13 learners. So in terms of capacity to accommodate the students, there is that number, and the problem is becoming some of the schools, and we're going to discuss that, not having the students going into them. Now, an assessment was done, and out of the senior schools, we discovered 1,452 schools did not have labs. They were using makeshift, maybe classrooms and mobile labs. So we are doing 1,600 laboratories. Some of those schools will have 1 or 2 or 3 laboratories. So we are doing another teachers. The current teacher population is indicated there. In primary, we have over 217,000. Junior school, we have 107,000, including 44,000 interns. These are the 20,000 interns that were given another 1 year, and the 24,000 that were being employed this year, making 44. And then senior school, we have 129,460 teachers. We are also retooling these teachers, the teachers with respect to the CBE. Asanteni sana.
Another round of applause for Waziri Ogamba. Thank you very much, Waziri, for that very comprehensive explanation, starting from the time where you began, how the transition was done, how you have, and the reasons why there was the transition, how you clustered the schools, how many we have existing, how placement was done, and the review, and how the classification of the schools and the number of children in STEM. The percentage is 52%, social sciences 38%, and arts and sports 10%. So you've given us a very clear picture as members of parliament Even personally, I've learned some things that I didn't know, so we truly appreciate that. And before members, we'll take field your questions to Waziri. I will allow 5 minutes for the chairperson of the Education Committee, Honorable Julius Melly, to maybe give some input before we proceed. You can tell us how you're commenting the efforts by the ministry.
Thank you. Our CS, our Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and the Clerk's Office. I think members have nothing much to put into, but the issues raised are very important. And you being the representative of the people, you know very well that you are actually having very ready questions to the Speaker, to the CS, especially on matters of transition. The money we are giving to schools, especially the JSEA, the senior schools and the primary schools, and what is affecting those schools within your areas. So I don't want to say much. I will just also sit like you, because the CS is here. He's going to speak himself and he's going to be able to take. Maybe what we'll only do is we start taking questions, because I have nothing much to compliment. Is it? So maybe...
Honorable members will order. There is some small group on this side that is disturbing the proceedings. Ngalechei and your team there, reduce your conversations. If you must converse, go out there and do it, so that people can follow what is going on. So Deputy Speaker will do this up to 11. I want to give you a full hour for this because of the importance of the subject. So don't be agitated. If you are not taken in the first cohort of 10, there will be another 10, there will be another 10. One question or comment each. So if you say, my first question, will stop you, because there's no first question. You only have one question. So proceed, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you for that guidance.
10, as they say, if it's Mbui, you are number 1. If it is Bai, you are number 2, so that when you start, we just say 1, 2, up to 10.
Okay.
Then the minister responds, then we take the next.
So, and a grade 6, allow me. Okay. Please allow me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, my comment is about ourselves in the implementation. To venture and say that one of the reasons that you need to deal with is how you relate. It's very clear that you cannot implement certain policies without reference to the National Assembly. Maybe some of the problems you are going through would not actually be a challenge had these proposals been brought to them, so that we deal with them as regulations. That way we would have given you.
Have some questions taken by your team if you want to transfer some of them, but you can note them all down. Proceed, Honorable Baya.
Thank you, Waziri, for the presentation, but I want to ask this question, and my question will be on equity and equality and access to educational places. And I want to say this. We see a huge inequality and inequality gaps. I'll give you one example. I have a national school, or a C1 in my constituency, national level education. Properly and getting good grades. Others are getting grades. They get the better jobs.
While other regions, you complement them with your infrastructure funds. Now, you have talked about 1,600 laboratories in 1,450 schools. Where is the list? Why don't you publish that list in your website so that we see which schools are benefiting? Why is it a secret? And from which areas? So my question is, provide us with a list of these laboratories plus the 8 years funding that you have done to each of the schools in each of the constituencies in a table. Provide to Parliament so that we can see where these funds have gone to. It's unfortunate that some of us are heavily building on the little CDF we have, while others are complemented heavily by your funding through the ministry. Please give us a...
Number
Thank
5.
you. Next, we have Honorable Tonke.
Thank you. I want to thanking the...
Thank you. Next, Honorable Nabi.
Thank you. Waziri. Chair, I need your protection.
Order, members. Order. Order. Yes, Wamboka, what is your point of order? Nabi, hold.
Honorable Speaker, the Committee of Education interacts with the Minister all the time, every other time, including today morning. They were with him. Why are they coming now to take positions, to ask questions that they normally ask the Minister? In fact, they should be helping the Minister to respond to us on some of these issues. Because a lot of what members are raising here, including what Honorable Baya said about funding, it is done by the Committee of Education. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. They should spare us.
Order, members.
Chair, can I...
Order. Point made. Everybody will have an opportunity. Order. Order, members. Nabi, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I think I represent the people of Lugari.
Don't defend yourself. Just proceed and ask your question.
Waziri, you created 3 pathways from grade 10. Unfortunately, one pathway, which is creative arts and sports, is a preserve of the C1s. What are you going to do to ensure that schools in rural areas, including those of my constituency, whose students are interested in sports and creative art pathway, will access that education in schools that are not C1? So, section B of that question is...
Only one question.
The C1 school, like Pangani, which has admitted over 4,000 grade 10 students without requisite teachers for STEM, and facilities like the laboratory. How are you going to ensure that learning goes on? Or are we just going to transit 100% without requisite curriculum delivery?
Number 7.
That's Honorable Bishi.
Thank you. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza nimshukuru waziri kwa maelezo yake kuhusiana na mambo ya elimu. Na mimi niseme tatizo moja nyeti kabisa ambalo tuko nalo ni tatizo la kulipia walimu ambao wako under BOM. Nauliza ministry iko na mikakati gani ya kusaidia kulipa hawa walimu wa BOM? Naangalia shule moja ya kwangu ambayo inaitwa Mrima Secondary School. Iko na walimu 22. Out of 22, 17 wote ni BOM. Only 5 in TSC. Niko na shule inaitwa Mwaima Secondary School. Out of 20 teachers, only 3 are under TSC. Wengine wote ni BOM. And so many schools in Coast Region. And at least in my constituency, karibu zote, you don't even get half under TSC. Wote wako hivyo. Na pia unapata shule nzima, hakuna STEM teachers. Na ukiangalia katika statistics zako utaona wanafunzi wengi wa kutoka pwani wengi hawajajifunza ama hawajafaulu katika STEM subjects, and this is because the teachers are not there. Hakuna walimu wa STEM, unapata ni walimu tu wengine wa masomo mengine wanajilazimisha kufundisha haya masomo ya STEM. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni shida kubwa sana ambayo lazima tuiangalie. Shida nyingine ni mambo ya uniform. Tunabadilisha uniform kulingana na zile grade. Wazazi wanakosa kupeleka watoto because of uniform and the books. The same grade mtoto mmoja amesoma, ikija tena hii the same grade mnabadilisha vitabu. Vitabu vinakuwa vingine. Mtoto hawezi kusema mzazi huyu amemaliza, huyu atasomea vitabu vya mwenzake. Ikienda hiyo grade tena mmebadilisha vitabu. You keep on changing the books. The parents are tired. We are also tired buying the books for the parents, for the student. Tumechoka. If we really want to ensure our student go to school, hizi changamoto lazima tuondoe, waziri. Asante sana.
Number 8.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is, when Waziri was talking about school fees, he said that even with the classification, the fees has not changed. That can only mean one thing, Waziri, that the ministry knows the fees that are supposed to be paid for the different clusters. So, Waziri, I would like you to give us this list today. You tell us for C1, this is the fees. For C2, this is the fees. Because if you go home, every school is charging a different kind of fees. Unakuta hii ni 20,000, hii ni 30, hii ni 40. Some schools are even 80,000. So we don't know, when you say the fees has not changed, according to you, what is the fees? Ili nijue leo nikienda nitaambia mwalimu, wewe shule yako inafaa kulipisha 20,000. Wewe yako inafaa kulipisha 5,000. Because, Speaker, if you go to these schools, it's like capitation never reaches there. It's like these schools learn on what the parents pay and what CDF and the bursaries pay. Without CDF and bursaries, the teacher starts calling you, we have no food, we have nothing. So we wonder, where does this capitation go that we normally talk about, that you have paid 12,000 per student? If you pay 12,000 for a student in a day secondary school, that student should not even pay any other fees. Day secondary should be free. If 20,000 went for every student in a day secondary school, then the same secondary where 12,000 was paid, the parent is supposed to pay other fees, bursary will pay other fees. Finally, that day secondary is 30,000 per year.
Thank you.
There is Honorable Kitur, Gasero and then Kitur.
Number 9.
Thank you very much. My name is Bernard Kitur, MP for Nandi Hills. My question goes to the equity and furtherance of the cost of schooling in terms of the issue of uniform. I want to ask you, Waziri, have you ever considered that we have one standard uniform for all schools so that we don't have the challenges of those children, like those ones that we are asking them to go back to school when they don't have fees, but one of the most expensive thing is the uniform. What are you doing about this in regard to all the public schools having one standard uniform? Secondly, you mentioned Kuwait Fund.
Members, I told you to ask one question each. Now you say secondly.
No, it's just a clarification. I just wanted to get Speaker. Let me just ask that. He mentioned about Kuwait Fund that is assisting schools in Nyamira and Kisii. And I wanted to find out, some of these funds come by virtue of being a CS and coming from that region, or what was the basis that was used that it only covered one region? Thank you.
Number 10.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm Honorable Ken Chonga, MP Kilifi South. Speaker, bear with me. My question is in two parts. Very brief. Very, very brief. Speaker, without taking a rider to what Honorable Owen has asked, one of the reasons why we have serious shortages in schools is the issue related to hardship allowance. Areas where bordering hardship allowance have suffered massive transfers from one area to areas which hardship allowance. My area of my constituency is a living example about this. I remember I brought a petition in the previous parliament, and I've been following up this petition to get to know what the ministry is doing to harmonize the issue of hardship allowance. But to date, Mr. Speaker, nothing has come forth from the ministry. I remember last year, in the month of November, there was a retreat in Kilifi, and this question was asked. Kilifi South is understaffed by over 50%, and this is the reason which is affecting that. How and when soon is this issue going to be addressed? Part 2 is, why are all the schools in Kilifi South lacking deputy principals, and even for those schools which have boarding schools for girls, have no boarding teachers, specifically, I don't know how you call them, women, ladies, boarding teachers, yet ladies are to be attended by their fellow ladies. Thank you.
And I think we had forgotten Honorable Gaisero. You can go now. You're the last one.
Sorry?
No, not you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. CS, for me, I'll be very specific on the...
Say your name, then ask your question.
My name is Gisairo, Member of Parliament, Kitutu Masaba. CS, I'll be very specific on the placement. What criteria was being used to do the placement of grade 10? What was the level of access by your officers into that system? Because we are all aware of some of the officers who were receiving lists and kept making the system go dark. And when it gets live, there were changes in mostly C1 schools. Some of the names we have, we can't name them here because of the setting of this meeting. But what measures are you taking to ensure that this is not repeated? This is not repeated because this was the most absurd placement system for our children into grade 10. Your officers messed it up, your officers abused it, and what measures are you taking to ensure this does not happen again?
Minister, go to the podium and answer those 11 questions.
Thank you, members, for those very insightful questions. I'll start with Honorable Mbui's question on the cost of educating a child in Kenya. First, let me start by saying that the amounts that we indicated as capitation for the government that is giving the 1,540, the 15,000, and the 22,000 was arrived at after a task force was established, and they did an analysis and came up with those figures. Having said that, Honorable Mbui, the simple answer to your question is that we actually, as a country, do not know how much it costs to educate a child from grade 1 all the way to university. And I'll explain to you the reason, and members, since we are all here as leaders, it is good to interrogate these things. For example, government gives capitation, which is tuition fees, tuition of 1,420. CDF gives bursaries. County governments give bursaries. We are called to Harambes and we donate to that same number of children. There are other people, private sector, who also contribute. So no analysis, no actual analysis has been done to determine what is the actual cost. So what we are doing as a ministry currently, as we speak, through the development of the new KEMIS system, we are creating a module which will give all our learners a unique number from grade 1, from actually ECD, all the way to the universities. So that if you are supporting a child, any child, whether you are CDF, whether you are county, whether you are private sector, that amount has to be allocated to that child in that number, so that we can have a discussion about what is the total amount of money that we are putting in the sector, other than the 702 billion that the government is giving, which is at 28%. Then we can come up with an actual amount that we can say, this is what it costs to educate a child, to confirm whether, if we put all these funds in one basket, would then be able to meet the requirement of Article 53 on free and compulsory education across the board, including issues relating to uniforms and other expenses. We have had a challenge, and you'll agree with me. This analysis has never been done. Nobody has done it. It hasn't been done. It is something that as a country today, because of the challenges that we are having, we need to face it and we need to do it. We have to be courageous about it so that we have a clear picture. Because we have an X number of students, X number of children, we need to be able to know how much money is allocated to each of those children. Question number 2.
Allow him to proceed first, then you can raise your issues.
On the issue of the regulations...
Allow him to proceed first. When we take the second round of questions, I'll give you a priority. So just write down. Just write it down. We'll proceed that way, or else we'll not make progress. Proceed, Waziri.
On the issue of the regulations that we normally issue as circulars,
write it down, I'll give you a chance.
We are reducing now those into a gazette notice, but also we are undertaking the amendment of the Basic Education Act, where a lot of these issues are going to be addressed through the Act and through the regulations that will be coming to you. Number 2.
Honorable members, kindly keep your voices down so that we've already asked the questions to the minister. If everybody gives a point of order. Okay, then I'll have one point of order. Okay, Honorable Ochieng, what's your point of order?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the question asked by the Honorable Mbui is everything you would want to know in this country about education. This question, the answer to that question is everything about school fees. So the minister cannot tell us he doesn't know how much a kid costs to teach in this country. So on what basis do they give capitation for primary, for secondary? What basis are they giving us school fees for university? Madam Speaker, if we don't know how much a kid costs to teach, how do you budget? And number 2, then who does the minister expect to do that analysis? Whom does he expect to do that actual science thing? It's a question that is mishandled, and it wrecks, in my opinion, of lack of appreciation of what it's supposed to do. It has to be handled in the right manner.
Okay, thank you, honorable members. The good thing is the minister has confirmed, he has said he doesn't know. So what we should be doing in the follow-up questions is giving him a time frame to present that before the committee. But he doesn't know. He can't guess.
Order, members, order. 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 Ocheng has made a point. Minister, you have heard. Now proceed to answer.
Thank you.
Order. Sirma, take your seat.
I've heard you. Thank you.
Take your seat. Take your seat, member.
Honorable Bayer's question on the issue relating to distribution of...
Waziri, order members, you have your technical team here.
Yes.
You are at liberty to ask them to assist you, give you the numbers, the figures, so that you satisfy the House. And honorable members, it will be decent to listen. Even when the answer falls short of your expectations, we have another round to ask questions. Order. Con Waziri.
So on the question of distribution of the teachers and infrastructure to areas that have been left behind, so to speak, as a ministry, we are focused on doing affirmative action to ensure that these areas are provided for, and also the question of rationalization of the resources that we have and the teachers that we have, so that we can redistribute the teachers to various schools that do not have them. We have a rationalization issue, and this is being done by TSC. We've had discussion with them to see in schools that do not have teachers, and we have teachers in another area where we have more, that distribution needs to be done so that no place is left behind. In terms of ensuring that we provide the list of the infrastructure that has been distributed, that will be submitted to you so that each person can see what has been allocated to where, from when to when. So we'll provide, didn't come with it, we'll provide that particular list. Honorable Patrol's question on the number of students that we can cap on the number of schools where these students select. The policy of government is that students select the schools that they would like to go to. So what happens is, in this particular transition that we did, students were allowed to select 3 schools from each category. So they were allowed to select 3 schools from C1, 3 schools from C2, 3 schools from C3, and 3 schools from C4. Now, the reason why some of the schools received more students is because they did not have Form 2s. So they were allowed to increase the capacity a little bit because they had an extra classroom. That's why some of the schools who had indicated that they have, for example, capacity for 500 were allowed to take an extra 200 because that capacity is available in those schools. So what is going to happen is, once we complete this exercise on Friday, we are going to look at the exit report on the numbers. How many students have gone to C1, how many have gone to C2, how many have gone to C3 completely and C4, and determine the schools, for example, that did not get the numbers. Then we'll have a discussion on what we are going to have to do with those schools. But we'll only be able to reach that decision once we have the exit report of the final placement. That is the same question, question 5, to Honorable Tonkei's question. All the students that are in Narok did not get capitation. It is not true. The capitation that goes to school is based on the number that is submitted by the schools. So what was happening, and maybe as an explanation, is that a request is...
Let him finish his sentence and I'll give you a chance. Honorable Tonkei, he hasn't completed answering you. Let him finish, then you can, I'll give you a chance to ask.
So I was explaining that in senior school, 22,000 shillings is sent to schools for the students. That money is sent as 50% in term 1. As a policy, it is not...
Honorable Tonkei, what's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, I did not say that the CS did not send money. Honorable CS, understand my question. In fact, I began by complimenting you for the good work of dispersing all the capitation to schools. The question was, there was a directive from the president that all the grade 10 students report to schools. And my question was, what are you doing to ensure that the capitation that now will be sent to schools is sent so that those students can learn comfortably?
Kimitei agobo inye ago kimita siginetkei kibaibaitgei ak inoisechigei tuguk cheterter chetesetai eng emetab Kenya ak emotinwek chebo sang. Inyorwech eng DSTV channel 266, Zuku channel 19, GoTV channel 099, Star Times channel 164, Pang eng free to air, Bamba free to air, Azam channel 336 koboto online streaming eng www.kasstv.co.ke.
Kotitinye ng'oliot age tugul kotinygei ak tetutik sirwech sirutiet en oretab email konyo info@kassfm.co.ke anan ko SMS en number 5552 anan ko 30552 ak imwawech kit nechome ak nemechome.
Kass TV, kimnotet naet. Kimitei agobo inye ago kimita siginetkei kibaibaitgei ak inoisechigei tuguk cheterter chetesetai eng emetab Kenya ak emotinwek chebo sang. Inyorwech eng DSTV channel 266, Zuku channel 19, GoTV channel 099, Star Times channel 164, Pang eng free to air, Bamba free to air, Azam channel 336 koboto online streaming eng www.kasstv.co.ke.
Kotitinye ng'oliot age tugul kotinygei ak tetutik sirwech sirutiet en oretab email konyo info@kassfm.co.ke anan ko SMS en number 5552 anan ko 30552 ak imwawech kit nechome ak nemechome.
Kass TV, kimnotet naet.
Kenya, twende mbele. NCBA, go for it.
Dojin serikalitab county nebo Kericho kondojin governor Dr. Eric Mutai en igorto nebo oeng nebo graduation nebo kipsomaninik cheite 1,100 chebo sugulishekab vocational training nekiyoe en kasitab mut tarik 30 arawani bo Januari en Kiprugut Chuma Stadium